Aurora, an Arapahoe County man convicted of sexually abusing his daughters for close to 10 years, was sentenced Monday to 112 years to life in prison. Well, 112 years is life, isn't it? Jermaine J. Quinata White, a 38-year-old, was convicted in January of 7 counts of sexual assault on a child by a person in a position of trust, aggravated incest, and 3 aggravated sex offense sentence enhancers. In July of 22, White's stepdaughter contacted Aurora police to report that White had been sexually assaulting her for the past 9 years and prompted her to seek an abortion at 14 years old. That's pretty sad. Aurora police soon became aware of a concurrent investigation by the Texas law enforcement into White's abuse of his own 3 biological daughters. White was arrested and charged in November of 22 as a result of an interagency effort by Colorado and Texas law enforcement. All 4 daughters testified during White's trial. That's awesome. There's no sentence that can restore their innocence and take away the trauma, but a lifelong prison sentence for this defendant can certainly assure the public and his family that they are safe from this monster. See you in 112, Chomo. Over to Conyers. Rockdale County Public Schools is in the process of terminating the band director at Rockdale County High after he was arrested on several sexual assault charges. Jacques Jones, a 38-year-old, who's been an employee of the school there since 2018, faces 2 counts of sodomy, 1 count of aggravated sexual battery, and 1 count of aggravated child molestation. Jones was arrested by the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office and booked into the Rockdale County Jail March 12th. An open records request for documents related to the investigation and arrest of Jones was denied by the police station, citing that it's an ongoing investigation, so we don't know much about it. The Sheriff's Office said it would release a statement on the arrest sometime next week. And you can be sure we're going to be right there waiting on it on the sex offender hit list. See ya, Chomo. A Schenectady man was sentenced last week to 15 years in prison for having sex with a child younger than 13 years old. Juan Garcia Pleitez, a 41-year-old, had pleaded guilty in January to first-degree criminal sex act. He admitted to having inappropriate sexual contact with the child known to him. The district attorney's office said the sexual assault took place on August 2nd in the city of Schenectady. Police said an investigation after the child told her mother that Garcia Pleitez sexually assaulted her in the attic of the family residence. The mother removed her children and contacted the police immediately. Garcia Pleitez will have to serve 20 years of post-release supervision and register as a sex offender for life, according to the district attorney's office. He also has a 40-year order of protection that bans him from contacting that victim. Sounds good to me. Wish he would have gotten life in prison, though. That'd be a lot better. See ya, Chomo. Down in Texas, a Brazos County jury has sentenced a man to life in prison for sexually abusing a child. In July of 21, a young woman told police that Donald Mims had sexually abused her for 8 years, beginning when she was just a child. Bryan police were able to corroborate her statement with school records, which showed absences that she said occurred the dates of the abuse, as well as phone messages sent from Mims. Mims was charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child in June of 22. A Brazos County jury convicted Mims on Wednesday, March 6th, just last week. The 46-year-old is currently serving a 45-year prison sentence for multiple drug dealing convictions. According to the Brazos County District Attorney's Office, Mims was one of the most prolific drug dealers in Brazos County, as well as a Chomo. The judge ordered that Mims will not be serving the life sentence until he's paroled on his drug conviction. So he's going away for real life. See ya, Chomo. A Gainesville man was arrested Friday in connection to the sexual assault of a girl under the age of 10. Hall County Sheriff's Office officials said Jamie Flores Montano, a 22-year-old, faces charges of aggravated sodomy and 4 felony counts of aggravated child molestation related to these assaults. According to the investigation, Flores Montano allegedly sexually assaulted the girl over a 3-year time frame between January of 2015 and December of 2017. Officials said the victim and the suspect knew each other. Flores Montano turned himself into the Hall County Jail on March 15th and remained there with no bond. Waco, Texas. A man was sentenced to 40 years in prison Monday after pleading guilty to sexually abusing 3 sisters over the course of several years. 39-year-old Brian Sayans pleaded guilty to aggravated sexual assault of a child and 9 counts of indecency with a child by contact. Judge Thomas West sentenced Sayans to 40 years on the aggravated sexual assault of a child count and 20 years each on the indecency counts. Sayans was indicted for continuous sexual abuse of young children, a charge that carries a minimum of 25 years in prison without parole up to life without parole. However, in exchange for his guilty plea, the McLennan County District Attorney's Office amended Count 1 to aggravated sexual assault of a child, a first-degree felony that carries a maximum life, but offers the possibility of parole after Sayans is given credit for serving half of his 40-year term. So he's got to do 20 years before he comes up for parole. The 3 girls are all family members of Sayans, so he's an incestual chomo too. They told their mother that Sayans sexually abused them several times over a number of years and often videoed the assaults. The oldest girl reported the abuse began when she was just 9 years old and ended when she was 13. The next 2 reported the abuse began when they were 7, with the abuse lasting until the second girl was 10 and the other ending when the youngest was 9, according to the court records. Assistant District Attorney Tara Avens said Sayans' actions prove that monsters are real. In Alabama, a man turned himself into the Decatur police this month after he was indicted by a grand jury for sexual abuse of a child under 12 years old. The Decatur Police Department said they received a report of sexual abuse within the city limits in February of last year. And then upon investigation, it was found that the suspect was also a family friend of the victim, which is generally the case. The suspect was identified as 35-year-old Fulgencio Mongul, according to the police department. The results of the investigation were turned over to the Morgan County District Attorney's Office. The case was then presented to the Morgan County Grand Jury for consideration, and as a result, of course, an indictment for sexual abuse of a child less than 12 years of age was issued. The police say that Mogul turned himself into the Decatur Police Department on March 13th. He was then transported to the Morgan County Jail on a $30,000 bond. See ya, Chomo. Meanwhile, in Indiana, a Medora man is under arrest after Instagram flagged him for reportedly uploading more than 100 images of child sexual abuse material. This is 19-year-old Paxton Avery Allman. He's charged with 6 counts of possession or distribution of child sexual abuse material, which is a level 5 felony, as well as 3 counts of possession or distribution of child sexual abuse material as a level 6 felony. Misspelling led them to Anderson's 10-plus year child sexual abuse material addiction habit. According to court documents, Instagram notified the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children about 133 files being sent through Instagram Messenger, with some reportedly containing the child sexual abuse material. Police were notified about this tip back in December, and then a police investigation was started and determined that Instagram account was tied to Allman's student email from when he attended Brownstown Central Community Schools. So he's had that email for a while. Allman was also part of the Atterbury Job Corps and lived at the Atterbury facility Monday through Friday and returning to Medora on the weekends. Allman was arrested on March 12th at the Atterbury Job Corps facility, which is located next to Camp Atterbury in Edinburgh. Allman reportedly admitted to sending and receiving and trading all of the above child sexual abuse materials and confirmed the Instagram account in question was his. Court documents also reveal that a search of his phone reportedly uncovered images of child sexual abuse material. Allman is being held with no bail in the Jackson County Jail, where he belongs. How about this nice, good-looking couple? This pair was arrested in connection with a sexual assault, or more than one actually, from more than 20 years ago. So a Manchester couple turned themselves into the police in relation to the allegations that date back more than 20 years. Late last year, a woman came forward with information about alleged sexual abuse that she endured when she was just a child. Through the course of the investigation, the police they learned that 53-year-old Daniel Odell assaulted her on multiple occasions when she was approximately just 9 years old, and his girlfriend, 41-year-old Sherry Latendre, was present during those assaults. Odell was charged with aggravated felonious assault on a child, and Latendre was charged with criminal liability to aggravated felonious sexual assault on a child. Both charges are felonies, and their bail was each set at, get this, $350. And they will likely be arraigned on March 19th in Manchester District Court. What a crack up. Yeah. Let's head up to Michigan here in Oscoda County. The Michigan State Police said Monday that a Mio man had been charged with multiple sex crimes involving a minor. In February this year, troopers from the Michigan State Police Alpena Post were requested to investigate sexual allegations made by a child that had occurred earlier that year. The victim was interviewed, and the investigation led to an arrest warrant being authorized on March 11th for 38-year-old Justin Lee Taylor from Mio. Taylor was arrested later that day at his residence and taken to the Oscoda County Jail. He was arraigned in the 81st District Court in Oscoda County on one count of criminal sexual conduct, 4th degree, victim between 13 and 16, as well as one count of accosting children for immoral purposes, and one count of indecent exposure.
When you ask me what is wrong, I don't know what to say. I'm scared. I'm confused. What if I told you something happened to me? What if you don't believe me? I'm afraid you will get mad.
Child sexual abuse is hard to imagine when it happens to a child you know, and the abuser knows this. Nobody wants to talk about it. If you learn a child is being abused, step 1, above all else, believe the child. Step 2, seek help immediately by calling the Child Abuse Hotline. 1 in 10 children will be sexually abused before their 18th birthday. Child sexual abuse is in every city, every town, every neighborhood. Prevention is possible. It doesn't take a hero. It takes someone like you learning how to keep a child safe and joining the effort in your community to prevent child sexual abuse.
Because you believe me, I got help. We got help. Now I can be a kid again.
Right, and you're right. It's a step in the right direction.
When a child experiences trauma, they can be stripped of their ability to imagine. But imagination is colors. All the colors. Imagination is freedom and whatever you want it to be. But a child without imagination is not a child at all. Will you help defend our right to imagine?